All right, so we want to simplify this radical. We have the square root of 75. So what we're going to do first is we're going to look at this format. So when we write this in simplest form, we're going to have it written in this format right here. Our red square on the outside of the radical and our green triangle on the inside of the radical. So in order to get to that point, first we want to factor out this number and create a little factor tree. So we have 75. We know two numbers that multiply to give us 75 are 15 and 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to write those right under our 75 in our factor tree. Then from there we see, okay, 5 is a prime number. So we're going to look at that 15. And we know that 3 times 5 is 15. So we are going to write that in our factor tree. Right away, we see we have 2 5s. So we have one pair and then we have our 3 all by itself. So we are going to write the pair or draw the red square around our paired numbers, so our 5s. And then for our number that doesn't have a pair, that's all by itself, we're going to draw our green triangle around that. So once we have that all labeled, we see what numbers fall under our red square in our green triangle. Our 5 we see is the red square, and as you can see, one pair of 5 equates to just 5 as instead of writing 2 5s. And for our 3 is just 3. So when we put that back into the format that I had up earlier, we get our answer of radical or the square root of 75. Simplifying that radical, we get 5 times the square root of 3. And that is our final answer. Now for this next one, we have the square root of 360. So we're going to go ahead and follow the same process by creating our factor tree. I do want to mention that you can go about this multiple ways. So the way I'm going to do it with you all is we're going to multiply 36 by 10. But you could also do 4 and 90. Either way, you would still get the right answer. So when it comes to simplifying a radical, you can multiply whatever numbers that you prefer that work, and you still get the same answer. So I'm going to use 36 and 10. You could use 4 and 90. However, you still get the same answer. So we're going to use 36 and 10. And so we're going to start with our 36, and we're going to factor that out first. So we know 36, two numbers right away we know that multiply to give us 36 are 6 and 6. From there, we know we can factor even further because 6, we know that 3 times 2 is 6. So we do that on both sides. We have that done. Now we can look at our side with 10. So we know for 10, 5 and 2. 5 times 2 gives us 10. We can't factor it out any further, so that is where we'll leave it. And so now it is time for us to find our pairs and then our individual numbers that are all by themselves. So again, we are going to square in our pairs with that red box, and we are going to draw that green rectangle over our independent numbers. So when we do that, we get 2 and 3 that fall in our box and 5 and 2 that fall in our triangle. We are going to actually be multiplying these numbers. So when we do that, 2 times 3 we know is 6 and 5 times 2 we know is 10. So our final answer for this one ends up being 6 times the square root of 10. So that is the simplified radical for the square root of 360. Now for our last example, we have the square root of 21. So this is very interesting. We're going to go through the same format and factor this out. We get 7 times 3. Now we're here at 7 times 3 and we see that neither number factors any further because they're prime numbers. So we just end up writing 7 times 1 and 3 times 1 and we get nowhere. So our final answer is just the same thing, the square root of 21.
Wait, before you leave, go ahead and check out these lessons up above. You can watch this lesson or you can watch that one. or you can watch both. Oh, and while you're at it, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can do so by clicking out of this video and hitting the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Bye.